Can everyone see my screen? Hooray! So,
Woman.
I know, you know what? I talk about superheroes a lot. However, I just find that they're really relatable. So before I go into it though, like, thank you so much for the opportunity again. And this platform is amazing. KaushalyaUk, is an amazing platform to be able to serve on. And I believe that whoever turns up to these workshops is meant to be here for a reason. So thank you for joining me tonight, all three of you. And also, welcome to those of you watching on replay. I know quite a few people sign up and then they end up watching it on replay because they can't quite make it on the night. So, once it's posted on the website, catch up is great. And let me know if you have caught up. It'd be great to know and see what you resonate with as part of this workshop. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is how to turn your struggles into superpowers. And before I get started into it, I want you to all know that I do use superheroes as analogies, and I use them for a lot of things because they are really relatable. And a contributing factor to that might just be because I've got a 4-year-old son who's obsessed with superheroes, but genuinely, it just works for so many people. But if you prefer to use a different analogy or apply it to yourself in different ways, please feel free to do so. What I want you to concentrate on is not so much the superhero pictures, but the idea behind it. So that's more important. So before we dive into the how, let's tell you a little bit about myself. And I know all three of you have met me on different platforms, so this will be a bit of a recap. So this is a lot about me, actually. And I don't expect you to go through all of this as part of how I present and where I present. I feel like everyone picks up on a different thing each time. But in a nutshell, what I do is I help mum entrepreneurs to sign clients consistently. That's what I do in a nutshell. And I've got a lot of experience and a lot of credentials behind me to be able to do what I do and do it very, very well. Life didn't always look like this. And my two babies are at the core of why I do what I do and why I choose to work with mums. Because I feel like once you become a mum, not only does your life change, your goals change, your views change on the world, and also you have to come to terms and recognize your new self that you step into. And I really want to help empower those mums to be able to embrace their own ambitions and put themselves first for the sake of their children. So that is at the core of what I do. But life didn't always look like this. So my journey to entrepreneurship was very, very different to my life right now. And I actually started off as a secondary school maths teacher. And what that meant is that I was, as all teachers know, I was working 12, 13 hours a day, bringing work home, all of that kind of stuff, right? Because teaching's not a job, it's a lifestyle, let me tell you. So I was rated outstanding by Ofsted as a teacher within the first 2 years of teaching, but I really truly neglected my health. I was a maths teacher, which meant that I was in high demand. There was a shortage of maths teachers in most schools, and it meant that I was doing more than what my timetable said I was doing. So my health was neglected. I'd go most days without eating and just surviving on coffee. And when it came to half terms and school holidays, so basically this time of year, I probably would have been in bed with a cold and trying to recover, ready for the new half term. And you know what? I really didn't know much at all about mindset. I was just rolling with life. I was kind of just doing what I could do. And then my mum was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I decided to leave teaching because it really was consuming my life. And it was a choice I made because I wanted to be there for my mum. And I knew that doing the job that I was doing to the extent that I was doing it, it just wasn't a place that I'd be able to truly say that I was there for my mum. And family means everything to me. And when that news came about, it was a huge shock. So I had a huge career change. Now, there was loads of shame and guilt attached to that because I was educated and my parents had invested so much time and energy and effort into me as a person that I felt shame and guilt leaving behind that to delve into essentially the unknown. I had no direction and didn't know where I wanted to go. And people would say things to me that really started shrinking my confidence, like things like I was a failure or someone who just gives up, or, that I should be able to manage a career in teaching as well as be there for my mum. And other people can do it, so why is it so difficult to me? Other people can do teaching and run like a whole family and a household, and you don't even have those responsibilities right now, so why can't you do it? And, people would also comment that I was wasting my degree and I was settling for any job, apparently, because I started looking in the corporate world and, things would pop up in my head, like, is it because I can't stick at the job long enough when things get tough? And apparently I just didn't have it in me. And these were thoughts that were riddling me. And the thing is, people didn't realize that the toughest battle that I was facing internally at that time was the thought and dread of losing my mom. And all they saw was the positive, smiling girl who worked as a teacher and ticked all the boxes and did what was expected up until now. So when I decided to make such a big change in my life and my career, it was totally unexpected for everyone, including myself. Nobody ever thought to ask me what I wanted to do or ask me where I may have been struggling. Nobody really gave me guidance, only opinions. And if it wasn't for my then fiance and now husband, he was the one who really encouraged me to pursue what I wanted and helped my confidence. He reassured me that I was smart enough to come back to teaching if that's what I wanted to do later on in life, and empowered me to really take that leap. And because he believed that I'd be able to achieve whatever I wanted in any career that I went into, it helped me feel empowered enough to take that leap. So it was him who saw my hard work and effort. And to be honest, we'd been friends since we were 15 years old. So his words really did fill me with a lot of confidence because I knew that he understood me. And so in a time in my life where I was questioning everything about me as a person and what I was doing, I couldn't have been more grateful for that support. And if you take anything from this slide at all, like, find your person. It may not be a spouse, it may not be somebody related to you, it might be a stranger, it might be a friend who's distant, but find that person, because cheerleaders are very, very important, especially when you're going through any significant change in your life. And as a result of that, I couldn't be more grateful for him, because that career path that followed was really interesting and it's brought me to where I am today. So I fell into the corporate world. I had a corporate career in sales, business development, business relations, business growth, basically climbed the ladder in the corporate world. And then I decided, like, I went from working 12, 13 hours a day in teaching to a 9 to 5. And then I was like, oh my God, I've got so much time on my hands. What do I do with myself? So then I started in the network marketing world. I started a network marketing business on the side. And I initially started it because I thought, oh, it's a great income stream on the side. Let me start earning some money. And although my intention when I went into it was to earn extra money, what I stayed there for really was it was the person I became through it. It was the amount of personal development, leadership, entrepreneurship, time management, all those skills that it taught me is why I stayed in that. And that has really given me the foundation of where I am today. And the corporate world and the network marketing world together really reinforced my values and ethics. It reinforced why I do what I do it for, reinforced my purpose. And allowed me to find a new purpose at each different stage of my life. So what I realized is that I had amazing transferable skills and lots of them. I wasn't just a failure. I was not someone who gave up on their dreams, and I was not someone who gets bored and moves on. And I did at one point in my life believe every single one of those things. What I started realizing was that through the successes I was experiencing in the workplace, it was because of my work ethic. It was because of my moral compass. It was because of my integrity and all the positive skills that I already owned. But I did at one point in my life believe all those negative things that were being said to me. And I really struggled with that. And that was really the intention behind creating what I'm creating today and sharing with you guys, because I held myself back in many ways. And I'll share a bit more of that with you as we go along today. And what I want to see is other people, instead of holding yourself back because of the voices in your head and the voices that are coming in your direction, it's how to turn those around and turn them into your strengths. Also, what was being said to me wasn't helpful or encouraging in the slightest. And it just felt like chaos. It felt like chaos going on around me. I couldn't make sense of it. So thinking back now and reflecting, would these people have told me the same thing if I was a child? Would those same words have been put on me if I was a child? If a child is doing sums and they decide that they don't like it and they're throwing a tantrum, does that person get told that they're a bad person for not liking it? Do they get discouraged from doing it? Do they get discouraged in any way? If anything, positive words are said to that child to encourage them to embrace the process and learn from it. Would those things have been said to her? Would they have been said to her? Would I have said those things that I said to myself and believe myself? Would I allow her to believe them? This is my daughter, by the way. She's my real superhero. She's 18 months now, but she's my little Wonder Woman. And she's my inspiration, because during that reflection, I find if a child finds that playing hockey is not for them because it doesn't suit them, and instead they'd like to pursue swimming, do they get told that they're a failure or they're a quitter? Like, rarely ever. Instead, someone will sit them down, talk through their feelings, see what they're going through, their reasons for their decision, and then full support and encouragement is given to them based on whatever decision they make. So why, as adults, do we not support others in this way? And why do we not support ourselves and empower ourselves in this way? And after all, we're meant to have better cognitive development in order to be able to make these rational decisions, yet we're doubted more by other adults. So imagine the comments I got when I decided to leave the corporate world and wanted to work for myself altogether. I mean, this is just an insight into what I received from making a career change, the decision to change my career. And you can only imagine like the kinds of comments that were being thrown at me. However, I feel like in life, your journey brings you to certain points and you experience certain things for a reason. And had I not have experienced all of that, the point where I decided to start working for myself as an entrepreneur, maybe it was just building me up to handle that, because the comments came flying in once again. And I know that most business owners can relate, because when you decide to start a business, especially if you have a high-flying corporate career or some sort of educational background, people go, why do you want to do that for? It's so hard. Why don't you stick to the safe job? And I think lockdown and COVID really made people realize that jobs are not as safe as they're made out to be. And life is not as predictable and easy as just getting a job and sticking to it. So life has definitely taught people things in different ways. So the reflections that changed my life is, why am I holding on to what doesn't belong to me? What words am I owning that don't serve me? What opinions are affecting me and why? What beliefs am I holding on to of others? Ones that I don't own and I shouldn't own. Do these beliefs and opinions of others bring me closer to my goals? And when I started asking myself these questions through my reflections and journaling, it's like the penny dropped. I thought, oh my God, how long have I been doing this for? Some people call it self-sabotage. Honestly, I felt like I was burying myself. It's like I couldn't see the woods from the trees, and that's because I was so far underground with just words. The impact of words is huge. So what I'm going to teach you guys is how to turn your struggles into superpowers. And you're going to go from feeling deflated at times when you receive comments, when you're, thinking about things yourself and you're giving yourself that kind of negative self-talk, which happens. And I'm not saying I don't get it anymore. We all get it when we face new challenges. We all get the self-doubt kick in, but it's how to go and how to take yourself from feeling deflated to becoming absolutely unstoppable. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. So think back. I want you guys to think back to a time in your childhood. What were you always called? What were you known for? Like, what kind of characteristics did you portray that people would go, oh yeah, she's this or he's that? Or, what did your parents or your peers think of you? And how have you used these words to hold yourself back? So for me, I was always known as the stubborn one. I was always told, oh, she's ziddy, she's stubborn, she just does what she wants, she says what she wants. These kind of words and phrases were thrown at you. Thrown at me, thrown at you. I'm sure some of you guys could relate as well. But one of the things I was known for was that I was stubborn. And actually, what I needed to do and what I did over time is I thought, okay, I'm being called stubborn, right? And I held on to that. And every time I used to go to like an interview, or maybe I'd gone to like make a decision at work, this little voice in my head would go, am I going to say this because I'm being stubborn, or am I going to say it because it's right? Am I going to say it because it's stubborn? Am I being stubborn, digging my heels in here, or am I just making the right decision? Or am I just giving an alternative decision? Am I just voicing my opinion? And these, really, what I should have done is just said what was on my mind without any boundaries. But because it was so embedded in my head that I was the stubborn one, it really held me back in certain situations. So what I decided to let go of the word stubborn. I decided to change it. And I know for a fact now that I'm far from stubborn. My stubbornness is actually my determination, and it's got me so far in life, so far in life. But I want you guys to think about a word that maybe has been associated to you. It might be that you're super speedy. It might be that you eat your dinner too fast. It might be that you are always on the go and you're super busy. What is it that has been attached to you? What are you known for? And what has been the positive contributions of those words in your life? So what I would do is I would actually write down the initial word that you're known for, whether that be stubborn, whether that be too fast, whether that be quick-witted, whether that be whatever it may be. Give me some words in the notes. Give me some words that you guys have come across or have been used for you by other people to describe you as a person. When if they were to describe you to somebody else, what would they say about you? I can't see the chat box for some reason. Unmute yourselves. There's only a small group of us. Let's have a chat.
Independent.
Independent, yeah. And you know what? It's sometimes just said in a very negative way, like, oh, she's too independent for her own good. Yeah.
I think when I was little, they used to say I was stubborn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I became independent.
Yeah, I like that. You would switch that to independent, yeah.
Yeah.
I was the fighter, Zena. I used to ask a lot of questions, question everyone, everything.
And you know what? What I came to realize is that people put these labels on you because it makes them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right? It causes discomfort in them somehow, and it doesn't allow them to carry on with the narrative that they want to carry on with, right? So we have to do that for ourselves. So when we talk about how these words and phrases and opinions have helped you, what we really want to do is we want to rename these words. We want to give it that superpower identity, that identity that has helped us get to our goals. And these are just a few examples. And I would highly, highly, highly encourage journaling on these and reflecting on these, because this is one of the most powerful exercises that I did in order to empower myself and move forward in business, but also in life. And actually, it's something that you can apply in every area of life, whether that be business or lifestyle, can be relationships with people, because like, even if people are dating or if people are building friendships, there's certain things and certain characteristics that you will be known for, but you don't necessarily need to own them if it doesn't align with your journey and getting you to your goals. So in business, and because I'm a business coach, I tend to lean on the business side of stuff, but feel free to apply this to your own words and phrases in whatever area you're relating it to. So something that I've heard before, oh, you're too expensive. Oh, you know it all. Why are you acting like a know-it-all? Oh, you're such a show-off. Okay. And how I rephrase them is that too expensive meant I was valuing myself, wasn't giving myself away for free. Okay. Know-it-all. Actually, I'm an expert in my field. And I'm a show-off. No, I'm just passionate and I have pride in myself. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's fine. Not my problem. For me, it's not about actually creating. Sometimes it doesn't even need a conversation with the person giving you these words. What I want to encourage you to do is reflect on these, because comments come all the time. Throughout life, you'll receive comments and they don't stop. But your ability to be able to shake them off rather than embrace them and go to sleep with them will make the biggest difference in your life. So perception of how you see things will ultimately alter your projection in life, how you show up, whether you show up for your family, whether you show up for relatives, whether you show up for your clients, your mentors, whoever it is that you show up for. If you don't do this exercise and you don't empower yourself, you will riddle yourself with holding yourself back just by words. If you don't do these exercises, you won't be able to show up as your true authentic self, because you'll be too afraid of the negative association of who you could be, which you don't accept. Nobody wants to accept that they're negative personalities, because we don't need to. We're good people. Why would we want to accept these negative connotations of ourselves when they're absolutely not true? And the fact that they cause discomfort just at hearing them, and it creates irritation, it creates all these negative emotions when you hear them. It creates that negative emotion because you don't accept it. Fundamentally, you don't accept it for yourself. But sometimes you start accepting it when you don't do anything about it, or when you've actually start embracing that and questioning yourself and your integrity over it. So shake it off. Don't go to sleep with it. It's not yours to own. However, you can flip the script and you can take that and turn it into your power. And if perception alters projection, what I want you to do is, whenever you get feedback, even if that feedback is from your own head, because that happens a lot, right? This voice in your head. And if you haven't listened to my last workshop that I did about silencing your inner super villain, you need to go back and have a look on the website, because I believe it's on there. And silencing your inner super villain is all about the voice inside, right? So listen to feedback, because sometimes feedback is important. Okay, so listen to the feedback, hear it. But if it doesn't serve you, change the perception and then embrace the projection, the new projection that comes out. When you change your perception of something and you make sure and you test it on yourself and you say, does this fit me? Is this who I am? Keep asking yourself that question. And then you will see how much power there will be in the projection of you as a person in whatever situation you put yourself in. So embrace that superpower. Embrace that person that you truly are, and don't allow anybody else to hold the pen to your book. You are who you are, and only you know who you are. If you are the kind of person who is just stubborn for the sake of being stubborn. And don't kid yourself. I'm not telling you to lie to yourself, okay? This is about being true to yourself and truly embracing who you are for the powerful, amazing person that you are, and not because somebody else has an opinion of you or what kind of attitude you portray, because they're feeling a little bit uncomfortable because you're shining just a little bit too bright for them. It happens a lot, right? So that is as simple as it is, that is where I'm at today. And if you want to connect with me, feel free to connect with me on the following platforms. Let's chat, let's have a conversation. My DMs are always open. And if you guys have any questions, I would normally say put it in the chat, but you know what? Just unmute yourselves and go for it.
When you first asked, sorry, Zena,
Mm-hmm.
when you first said, what did they used to say to you? What like stuff? Like I said, when I was little, they used to say to me, "Oh, she's very stubborn." But as I grew, I wasn't stubborn at all. I was very kind. I was very caring, and so I've been like a carer all my life, and a giver, a business lady. Was strong. I had independence when I did my business. I was very punctual. I was, but all that sort of like in the few years where I've been really ill, set me back quite a lot, actually, emotionally. And but then listening to you today and listen to Ritu as well and Carol, it's like it's waking me up slowly now. Slowly. I'm never going to be superwoman. I've been the superwoman, I think, but I don't know why I think like that.
What is a superwoman in your eyes, Nash?
Superwoman is somebody who I don't know yet. I think I was a superwoman on Saturday.
If you don't know what superwoman is, how do you know you're not there yet?
I was a superwoman. I know that because I was working all the time, like doing things for everyone, wife, husband, my husband, children, parents, in-laws, everybody. I was doing things for everybody except for myself. So I've never done anything for myself except for my paintings. I've done that. And that was the only thing that sort of like I really did, just to get away from everything, but I stopped doing that as well for like since I've been ill now. I'm trying to get back into it.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
This is why I love the analogy of superheroes, because I'm going to ask you a question. I already know the answer, but I want you to answer it for me. Does every single superhero have the same power?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I suppose so.
Okay. Does Iron Man have the same superpower as Spider-Man?
No.
Okay. Does Wonder Woman have the same power as Batman?
I don't know. I don't know.
She doesn't, is the answer.
No,
she doesn't.
No
superhero, not one superhero has the exact same powers as another superhero. The superhero you want to be in your life, just because life has changed for you doesn't mean that you've lost those superpowers. It just means that you, as a superhero, have had to evolve, and maybe your superpowers have evolved with you. You just don't know how to identify them yet. You're getting there, like you said, you're working on it. So I would say to you, don't ever devalue yourself because you weren't even once.
I think that's what I think I've done that. Like being a superwoman before, like and but like recently I've started to like slowly coming back into terms of living again.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Can I add something here, Zena? Sure. Nash, if you're a superwoman, You are a superwoman. Full stop. You've
Yeah.
been once, doesn't mean you're not now. For now, you're resting your powers.
Yeah.
Or you're coming back to them gradually now. But you have them within you. Right? Don't deny yourself that. You saying time and again, you tell yourself you were a superwoman. You are a superwoman. You always been. So you still have it in you. It's just that circumstances or whatnot's not let you get to them, or they needed to recoup or whatnot. But they're there. And you are a superwoman.
A superheroes need recovery time too.
Absolutely. And you should have seen her paintings. Oh my God. They were fantastic. They were so lovely. And
Thank you.
yeah, no, seriously, I'm not just saying it for the sake of it, Nash. They were actually something.
I just feel so tired, like, and obviously with my condition, obviously I'm going to be tired. I'm learning to accept who I am now, actually. A few years ago, like even last year, I thought, that's it, me finish. But now I want to do a few things, like, since I've been talking to the groups and everything, it's like listening to you last time as well, Zena, listening to Ritu, listening to Carol, listening to other speakers as well. That's why I love coming to these Zoom meetings, just listening. It's not easy to leave the house every day all the time. Like, some of these Zoom meetings are lovely for me. And I'm learning. It's like going back to school, to tell you the truth.
We are lifelong learners, Nash, and nobody ever knows everything, ever. The fact is, you're getting up and you're doing the things that you know are going to help you. And like Ritu said, once you're always a superhero. You're never going to stop being a superhero. It's like going back to superheroes analogies. When Iron Man gets beaten up, yeah, he can't be Iron Man for a few days. He needs recovery for a bit of time, but he will come back stronger and more powerful because of that experience. And I put a really powerful post on my Instagram the other day, because there's a lot of people coming across, obstacles and things like this, where life has happened and life will always happen and it will continue happening to us. And sometimes there's never an explanation or a reason, or you can't find the reason straight away. But you carry on despite it. And my post was about despite. It's about, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to present amazing paintings despite the fact that I've gone through an illness. I'm going to present myself and I'm going to make the effort to turn up to these workshops online despite having been ill and being low on energy. And when you start using those words for yourself, there's a huge power in them. And the more you start saying that to yourself, the more your brain will go, what else can I do? What else am I capable of doing?
I mean, I am from a teacher's background, right? I mean, my dad was a teacher, my granddad was a headmaster, but I never became a teacher. I always wanted to do nursing. So I did a few years nursing, but I never completed that because obviously I had to get married young and move from London to Warsaw, and then just had the businesses started, so my career just changed. What I wanted to be, I'd never become. And I, obviously became always a businesswoman, where I succeeded quite a lot. I was very lucky. But like I said, it's just through this illness that I went really downhill and sort of lost my confidence in a lot of things. But my brain is saying to me now, come on, you can do it. You can do it. Like, I just needed that little push, like that little bit of a push where, friends like you and my husband always encourages me as well. And, I think, when you think that you can do it by yourself, when you have a trauma, but really you do need help. And for me, it's very hard to ask for help. And I'm coming to terms with that now, to ask for help. But whereas I used to be a help for myself, I used to give help, to everyone. Yeah. But when you need it, and it's really hard, and that's the stubborn part of me, I suppose, coming out.
So you recognize these things, which is great. And the first stage of making those changes is recognition.
Like I said, I've been an independent woman. I've never asked for anybody anything. But now it's like from like a superhero, always busy, running around, doing everything for everyone. Just my body's just slowed down.
Yeah.
Altogether. And I had a minor stroke as well, 2 years ago. So that's made me really go down as well. But like, I'm not giving up. I'm keep doing things,
Would you like a few phrases to help you?
Go on then.
So you talk about your illnesses. You say, because of these illnesses, I've gone down. Instead, rephrase that to, since my illnesses, I'm looking for more energy. Since I've had an illness, I'm looking for more energy. Because the illness, the more you start putting in the past, the more you can move away from it and start moving towards where you want to go. When you say, because of the illness, I'm feeling down, you're embracing it. And we tend to do that naturally because it is our now, it is our present at times. But where we need to live, when we talk about where we want to go, we want to live in our future. And there's a really powerful exercise I can give you to do that is, in your future life, are you into journaling, by the way, Nash? Do you do any journaling? Do you do journaling or writing?
I do sometime, yeah.
Okay.
Not much, no. I used to. Like I said, everything's just stopped.
What's stopping you from doing journaling?
I don't know, just
Nothing.
Nothing's stopping me.
Okay.
I can still write poems and things like that,
Yeah.
I can still write stories, but
so a really powerful exercise I can tell you to do, and all I would say is set yourself like 30 minutes as a timer on the phone, because sometimes getting into it is like an uphill struggle, getting into it, especially if you've not done it in a while. So the best thing I say is set yourself a timer on the phone, 30 minutes. If you can't give yourself 30 minutes in a week, there's a problem. There's a different problem to be tackled there, right?
Yeah.
Set yourself 30 minutes on a timer on your phone and get a blank piece of paper and brain dump everything that you're feeling, everything, your emotions, what's going on, how you're feeling about life, what you need to do in the day, what you need to get done, what you need to get off your chest, like everything that's in your head, release it onto the piece of paper. And that's a really powerful task. And the second part of that task is, you should be able to do both of these things within 30 minutes. But if you can't do it in two different sections of 30 minutes, is that the second part of that is creating and journaling your dream life. So setting time aside, and the way that you write your dream life is that you write it as if you are living it in the present tense. So it might be 5 years in the future, but you write it as if you're living it now. And you put so much detail into that from the moment you open your eyes in that dream life, in your day, in your dream life, from the moment you open your eyes all the way through to the moment you go to sleep that day. Write it in the present tense as if you were living it today. Talk about all the experiences that you have, how your day looks, what you do during the day, what you're wearing, how you're feeling, what you see, what you hear, what you feel around you. All of those things, write them down in detail. And keep that. That is a powerful, powerful piece of writing that once written, your subconscious brain will start going, how can I make that happen? How can I make it happen? And it will continue searching for the answers to get you there. And if you want to get away from where you are right now and you want to feel better about it and you want to be somewhere else in life, that is the key. That is the foundational core that will help you kickstart into that direction.
That's really good. I mean, when I lost my dad 12 years ago, I mean, he actually died in my arms. He had cancer, pancreas cancer, so it was really extreme. And but he died 3 days before my son's wedding. We had a wedding going on. And so I think that really hurt me a lot. It was a big part of my life, my dad. My mom died when I was young, but dad was everything to me. And since then, when he passed away, I was being strong for my son, the wedding. But then we had the funeral afterwards, right? I was still strong. I still didn't cry or anything. I was still being strong for everyone, you know. And I had a sari on and everything. I looked good, you know. I didn't even show anybody anything. So I just carried on normally, carried on working and everything. But I think internally, I was really hurt inside, but I couldn't talk about it. I never talk about it, to tell you the truth. And then I started to write at night. I had a book, a diary. I started to write things down then. That was like 12 years ago. I started to write things I felt and what I don't like and what I do like, how people treated me, you know, on my dad's death and stuff like that. But I've put it all aside now. I've put everything aside.
What do you mean by you put everything aside?
I've still got what I've written, you know, but I don't want to go back into that again. I want to move on.
You don't want to.
Yeah,
I want to go back into that again. It's written.
No, it's written. I mean, I've wrote like the feelings I used to have, and you know how I couldn't cry and how I couldn't wear things like what you just said. I used to do all that. I didn't even feel like going out the house, but I had to because I had a business to run, you know, and I had the, you know, there was wedding and I had a lot on.
I hear you. Yeah, I totally hear you.
And I had grandchildren as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I was looking after them as well. So I had a lot on, but I sort of feel tired. I feel like I've done all that, and you know, I just feel so tired now. You know, and I want to. And one part of me is saying, "Come on, you got to do it. It's not end of life." You know. You need to get up and, you know, do it. So what I did on Saturday was Ritu and Carol there. That was something like an achievement for me, which I've never ever showed my paintings to anybody. When we had a Zoom meeting with somebody, I can't remember, a few weeks ago, and the lady said to me, you know, and I said to her, I do like art, you know, but I said at the moment for 2-3, maybe a year or so, there's been a blank canvas, you know, because I haven't painted for about 1.5 years now, nearly 2 years. And but I've got my paintings out, and you know, all through something just sparked me saying, no, I have got a talent, you know. So
that's brilliant.
I've got talent, and I mean, even this is like my little, I call it a view room, and I've got my painting on the go now. I started one yesterday morning.
Yeah,
can you believe it?
Brilliant.
Yeah,
that's brilliant, and it's amazing to have new developments that really help you enjoy those things in life and move forward, and new passions and new hobbies are great. What I want to get to the bottom of, though, you mentioned that you used to do writing and journaling 12 years ago and you don't want to go back to that. Is it I understand that you don't want to go back to those emotions and bring those up, but what I don't understand is why wouldn't you go back to writing? Because at that time your life was very different, your goals were very different. What you had written at that time in your life is probably 12 years on irrelevant now. Of course it still holds meaning for you in your life and what you went through, but in terms of your goals and how you saw life is probably completely different. Actually, I can guarantee it's completely different. Writing tasks are not to do once and leave alone, because if people did that, nobody would be successful.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So writing tasks and reflections and journaling are really important. And I'm not saying here say do it every day if that's not what you want to do. It doesn't align for everyone, that's fine. But what is really important is to reflect on your new goals, because if you don't do that, you don't know what you're working towards. Then you could be going in multiple directions all at the same time and essentially be lost. If you don't know the destination, how can you make the journey?
You're right.
And what I'm hearing from you is that the destination isn't certain because of circumstances. I can't tell you what the destination is. That's for you to decide. I don't know you. I don't know your life. I don't know where you want to go, your goals, your desires.
I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of anything. I'm not scared of the future or anything. I'm just living for today. But I mean, we don't know what's around the corner, do we? We don't know the future. We just have to live for today, don't we, really? I mean, yeah. I can relate back to a lot of trauma in my life, like, you know.
You can connect the dots, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And but now, like, I sort of like your hero, like my superhero, went to sleep for a bit. You know, and it's sort of like waking up slowly.
Wake her up, man. Wake her up. She's there. I can hear her. She's like, I'm here. Hello, I'm here. She's talking to you.
You don't know me. I was a very superhero. If I can run an off-license and general stores, I was a superhero.
Maybe it's about time to create a new superpower, despite all the stuff that you've been through, because I can hear it. You've got a lot to offer. You've got a lot to give, Nash. Don't ever put yourself down for that.
No.
Yeah.
I did till I spoke. I think Ritu woke me up a bit.
We all need these reminders.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. Yeah. Each one of us does. I mean, I was complimenting Zena where she's at right now before we start. I mean, she's very inspirational herself, and you know, we do feed off each other. You know?
I think when you're working hard all your life, you don't get that compliment, or it doesn't matter about.
No, Nash, I think this is another something that women especially, and it's amazing that I've come across quite a few women very recently who would place their value or would relate their value particularly to their work, as if, you know, if you take that away from me, I don't hold any value anymore because I don't work anymore, or I don't have a title to display, or, you know, I'm only contributing to my personal life at the moment, or that's all I'm about right now, and there's nothing else. We may feel that we're not serving anything, but your existence is not really just your existence. You know, you're still a mom, you're still a wife, you're still a grandmother, you're still a friend, you're still a sister, you're still so many different things to so many people, which we refuse to see for ourselves. And it's really a sorry state of affairs that us women particularly would place our value just in accordance to the work we do professionally. And I think that needs to change as well. We are valuable.
I mean, I have got a lot to give. I mean, I can sort of like, you know, talk, but I've sort of lost some of my speech, you know, and I feel embarrassed sometimes.
I think you should stop saying, I totally am going to cut you off, Nash, very rudely, and say, I'm going to ban you from now on to say, I used to, and I'm going to, because right now you are giving. What you did on Saturday at your display of your paintings, you were giving back to the community. And it was great. So I think you've got to, you know, focus on the now that you're doing as well. Even if you're running superstores or whatever, you know, you're still doing a lot. Give yourself that.
I will.
And you know what's really amazing is that you've even identified yourself where you feel safe, to be able to grow. Even if it's small growth, it's still growth. This KaushalyaUk platform, the workshops that went in person and whatever, you seem to have been able to come out of your shell a little bit and deliver there. So it's a safe space for you. So if you're not feeling confident enough now, use those safe spaces to practice. Because practice is how your confidence will grow, and do it with whoever and wherever you feel safe, and where there's no judgment, because I think this platform is amazing for that.
It's amazing, honestly.
It's amazing. So empowering.
When I sort of first stepped on it and met Ritu, I was like a child, like, even though I'm grown up, a grandma and everything, but I was like a child asking for help, really. And I sort of like, I felt as if I lost myself for a few years, to tell you the truth, you know. And but now
We're all lost and found, Nash, believe me.
every single time we go through a significant emotional event in our lives, we need to refine ourselves, we need to rediscover ourselves, and we become a whole new person. We evolve as a person. We no longer continue being the person we were before that event happened. So we are all, like Ritu said, we're all being lost and found continuously. And this is why it's important to revisit, okay, this has happened in my life. What's next? Where do I go from here? Where do I want to go from here? Our goals are constantly changing. Like, I did a session once where we were talking about, New Year's resolutions. And it was amazing talking on this platform on one of our Facebook groups, where we were talking about New Year's resolutions, how people go, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to, get all skinny, and I'm going to stop eating chocolate. And, all of these things come out in New Year's, and that by February, it's forgotten until the following January. Nobody does anything about it. Like, how mad is that? With goals, with what you want to do, unless you're revisiting them over and over and over again, you'll forget about it. You won't get that. So, yeah, don't ever think, right, I used to do this and I did set my goals then and I didn't reach where I wanted to reach, because you've gone through, like you said, trauma, significant emotional events, complete life changes. You are never going to be that person again. And you mentioned a really important word earlier, is acceptance of where you are right now. And that acceptance comes from empowering yourself despite what's happened to you. Yeah. Despite what's happened to you, I am able to do this. Despite what's happened to me, I am able to do this. And that's called living in the present.
Well, so it's really funny because just before this, right, today, my eldest granddaughter and my grandson was here all day with me, as my son was oldest and he was working from here, from my place. And they haven't been for ages because half term. So they were both here. And I was just busy with them, and they were talking to me and everything, went in the garden, went for a little walk and everything. And then I hadn't cooked anything for my husband in the evening, right? And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to cook? And really, to tell you the truth, I haven't been cooking without help now. I always need help for cutting and peeling and stuff like that. So lunchtime, my son helped me. And then like this evening, I thought I was going to make some ladyfingers. And they're easy to cut, aren't they? So I did that. I made some ladyfingers. And then on top of that, I made some dal, yellow dal, the lentils. I made that. And then I made roti. So I thought, wow, look what I've done. And my husband was saying, wow, you see, look, you've done 3 things today.
Amazing. There you go.
Amazing. And you were in flow by the sounds of it. You were just kind of just going with the flow, which is amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I normally can just do one thing at a time, but I did the roti, I did the sabji, and, the cooking and everything. But like I said, I do need help with things like lifting and stuff and all that. But
and that's okay. It's okay to ask for help.
I did that, and I don't know how to ask. Well, I've started to ask for help now. I didn't, but I have. Like I said, I have to. I don't know. I'll get there.
Yeah, of course. I have absolute faith you will.
Yes. Yeah, it's lovely. I'm so many questions, but I forget. As soon as I come on screen, I forget.
If you think of any more, you know where to find me now.
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, it's like the ladies group. The Women's Day when I met Ritu and I met you and Carol. Remember? And that my husband just said, right, you're going, and that's it. He was encouraging me to go out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, after my surgery and everything. And he said, no, you're going to go. This, I think in a way my husband doesn't like to see me just sitting there. He wants me to move on, make friends and things like that. So I'm doing that now.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Lovely.
Thank you.
I need to say a big thank you to Zina on everybody's behalf. Zina, I really appreciate your input and all the work you're doing in the background, making these workshops happen for KaushalyaUk. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who has joined us today, and those who are watching the replay as well, is as good as you were on here with us. So we will carry on, and we will let you know about our upcoming workshops. Please keep yourselves informed through our Facebook page, through our Instagram account, and also through our website. So all these recordings go on the website. And if you would like to, there's Zina's previous workshop about finding your superpower and beating your inner supervillain, which is amazing. So find that out and look through that as well. For now, I'm going to say thank you and good night to everyone.
Thank you to all. Thank you, Ritu. Thank you, Zina. Thank you.
Before we all leave, just really quickly, our next workshop, I can tell you exactly what it is. And Nash, it might be really useful for you to jump onto that. It's on the 14th of June. And Daniela is coming on to talk about recognizing burnout and steps for prevention and recovery. So that'll be really interesting. So yeah, off the back of what we were talking about today.
Keep me informed, Ritu, please.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely, I will do. I'm going to stop recording now.
I think you girls are getting a lot of things.